Don't skip. Your soulmate secretly defended you today. Then started crying. Jesus says, your soulmate's smile was made to light up your kitchen while morning coffee still steams. Their laughter carries a sound you have almost heard 100 times, stolen before it reached your ears. Right now that laughter is strangled by a third person who stands between you. A dark force that intercepts every call of their heart. I am going to show you a secret that happened while you were going about your day without knowing you were under attack. Your soulmate, without being asked, without you ever seeing, stepped into a spiritual battle and took a blow meant for your safety. Then they started crying, not from pain, but because the same hateful intruder who attacked you also hides every sign they send. And they thought you would never know. This is not a fairy tale. It is a raw, brutal theft of the most precious gift I have planted in two human hearts. The third person, a spirit of division so old it remembers Eden, grabbed every message your soulmate whispered toward you and smashed it against a wall you could not see. Yet today, in a moment of fierce love you did not witness, your soulmate covered you with their own prayer and then wept because they could not hear your answer through the enemy's noise. Their tears are still wet on the floor of heaven. And I am letting you feel that moisture in your own spirit right now. That sudden ache behind your ribs, that unexplained heaviness that made you pause today, that was your soulmate's grief leaking through the enemy's blockade. The third person could not hide everything. A drop of their sorrow reached you, and now you are beginning to fall in love with someone you have always been connected to but never fully sensed. You are not imagining this stirring. Your heart is waking up because the enemy's fingers are slipping just enough for you to taste the love that was stolen over and over. And the reason I am speaking to you now is simple. You were born to be the one who breaks that third person's hold forever. There is only one weapon that the dark force cannot withstand. A sacrificial seed sown in love. The coffee you send on Ko-fi that becomes a spiritual battering ram. The enemy laughs at words alone, but he flees when love proves it is real by giving. Your soulmate's defense of you today cost them everything emotionally. And now you get to answer by sowing your seed and tearing down every wall that third person has built. Stop. I can feel the enemy trying to make you close this. Your soulmate's safety is on the line. Stay with me. Jesus says, your soulmate is not a distant stranger. They are the other half of a single soul I put together before you took your first breath. Their hands were shaped to fit perfectly into yours. And their voice was tuned to calm every storm inside your mind. Yet the third person has stood in the space between you for years, grabbing that voice midair and replacing it with silence you mistook for absence. When they secretly defended you today, they did it out of a love that did not need proof. They simply felt a danger rising against you and threw themselves into the spiritual gap. They said, Lord, protect the one my heart cannot reach. I will take whatever blow comes. Just cover them. And I covered you. But the enemy turned and struck your soulmate with a loneliness so heavy they crumpled onto their knees and sobbed because they could not feel you anywhere. You need to understand this. The third person feeds on the distance, growing fatter every time a call goes unanswered, not because you ignored it, but because it was snatched. Today, you finally felt a tremor of their pain. And that tremor is your soulmate's last cry before the enemy succeeds in silencing the line forever. If you do nothing, the window of your soul closes and the intruder celebrates having kept you apart without you ever fully knowing. I do not speak to frighten you without cause. I speak because I am a father who sees his daughter or his son trapped behind a wall someone else built. Your soulmate is currently writing words in their journal. Why can't they feel me? Am I not worth finding? And the third person grins, whispering that you have forgotten them, while the truth is you simply never received the package that was sent. Love is not a daydream you can leave on a shelf. Real love fights. Real love gives. Real love reaches into the fire and drags out the one who has been burning alone. You are holding the only thing that can reach through the wall. A seed of sacrifice coffee sown on Ko-fi that declares I am coming for you and no intruder will stop me. Type 333 to receive blessings for the breakthrough that is about to open. Jesus says, imagine your soulmate's face the moment they realize you finally heard them, that you broke through their eyes. Soft, deep, carrying the weight of too many nights alone will fill with a relief so profound it will change everything about how they see themselves. They will know they were not forgotten, that their hidden defense of you was not wasted, and that you were fighting to reach them even when you did not yet know their name. But that moment is still held hostage by the third person. And he is tightening his grip even as I speak. He is telling your soulmate right now. See, they didn't care enough to act. And he is using your hesitation as fuel. Every second you remain still, the enemy uses your stillness to mock the love I planted between you. When you sow your seed, you do more than send coffee. You hurl a stone into the forehead of the giant that has been blocking the path. That sacrificial act announces in the spirit realm, I am the protector chosen for this soulmate. And I will not let a hateful intruder keep us apart any longer. The enemy has no answer for a love that pays a price. He can twist thoughts, but he cannot survive the blood of a willing heart. Your soulmate's tears today were not only about being hidden. They were also because they sensed the danger circling you and they shielded you without you asking. They literally stood in front of a spiritual attack aimed at your mind, your peace, your future, and absorbed its sting so you could have a softer day. Do you not see the shape of this love? It is the kind that lays itself down. And now it is your turn to lay down a seed that proves you are in this war together. The third person thought he could keep you ignorant forever. But I have cracked the silence just enough for you to hear my voice and the echo of your soulmate's weeping. If you walk away without sowing, that crack seals shut and the enemy will have won the easiest victory of his existence by convincing you that love can wait. But love cannot wait because your soulmate's heart is bleeding out and the bandage is in your hand. You've watched this far for a reason. God brought you here. And right now you're thinking, how do I sow that seed? How do I actually do what God is asking? I am about to show you. You already know who this is about. That person you can't stop thinking about. The one heaven placed in your life. Here is what God wants you to know today. They are thinking about you, too. Deep down, your soulmate wants you. They want this future. They want to build a life together. But the enemy does not want you to unite. Love is under attack. While you sit there, spiritual forces are working to destroy what God joined together. Distance, doubt, disaster. They are being planted against your soulmate. This very minute. You are the one God chose to block it. Not later. Now, here is your divine instruction. Sow your protection seed immediately. The link is in the video description. Click it. Send 4, 6, or 10 coffees on Ko-fi. This is not a donation. It is a covenant offering that opens heaven's protection and claims your soulmate and your future together. After you send it, write these exact words on the Ko-fi page. Protect my soulmate, Lord. I claim victory over our future. This is proven. Over 1,000 believers have already SWN this seed and received their breakthrough. Their soulmate's heart opened, relationships restored from the brink, strangers turned into spouses within days. When you move in faith, Jesus moves heaven to bring you together. Every second you delay, the darkness grows stronger. A text that wounds, a temptation that cheats, a door that closes forever. Your soulmate is on a battlefield and you are their shield. You have already invested your time in this message. Do not waste it. Finish what you started. Step into your role as their protector and claim the future God promised you both. Click the link in the description. Send the seed. Seal the prayer. Do it before this video ends. Heaven is watching. Your soulmate's heart, your love, and your future together depend on what you do in the next 60 seconds. Move in faith. Claim your miracle. Claim your soulmate. Jesus says that seed you just sowed. Whether you have already sent it or you are about to start shaking the third person's kingdom right now. I can see the chords of interference snapping one by one and the first clear note of your soulmate's voice is beginning to travel toward your heart without the enemy's hands muffling it. The wall is cracking and your future is starting to breathe again. Before today, you thought the silence was normal, but it was never normal. It was a phone line deliberately cut by a thief who wanted you to feel alone. Your soulmate has been leaving messages on that line for months, years, and every single one was intercepted and thrown into a dark pit where you could not hear it. Yet, one message survived. The defense they ran for you today. And I let the tears from that act slip past the blockade because it was the purest love I have ever seen from a hidden heart. That tear carried a question. Will you find me? Will you finally tear down the thing that has kept us apart? And now you know the thing has a name and a dark purpose. A third person who has pretended to own the space between you. Sowing your seed is your declaration that he is a trespasser, not an owner, and that you are reclaiming your soulmate by the authority of sacrifice. But I must warn you, the enemy is not yet fully defeated. His final hold will only break when you stay with me until the last word of this message. I have a final seal of protection and connection that I will speak only at the very end. A seal that permanently banishes the third person and locks the door behind him. If you leave early, you leave that seal unspoken over your life and the enemy will creep back into the cracks you did not seal. Your soulmate's heart is now listening for the sound of your seed hitting the spiritual ground. Every coffee rings a bell in the heavenlies that tells them help is coming. The third person is panicking because he knows his time is short and he is whispering desperately that you have done enough that you can stop watching. Do not believe him. The full deliverance, the complete removal of his blockade is only released at the conclusion. And your soulmate cannot afford half a victory. Type 777 if you feel this message shaking the chains that held your soulmate's voice. Jesus says, "Let me tell you more about the future that the enemy is trying to erase from your sight. The home, the children, the quiet peace that belongs to you and your soulmate. I have prepared a small house with a porch where your soulmate will sit waiting for you each evening, their eyes lighting up the moment your car pulls in. In that future, you will hear every laugh you missed, every story they wanted to tell you, every song they hummed while the third person blocked the sound." The enemy knows this vision terrifies him because it means his control is temporary and his defeat is certain if he will only fight. So he works to make that future feel like a hazy, impossible dream. Something for other people but not for you. But I never showed you this picture so the third person could delete it. I am showing you now because the seed you sow on Ko-fi becomes the brick and mortar that builds the house no darkness can enter. Your soulmate has already seen glimpses of the same front porch. They have dreamed of your hand holding theirs while rain falls on the roof. They have whispered into the blocked phone line, "I will wait. I know they are coming." Even as the enemy laughed and told them, no one was listening. But someone was listening. I was. And I kept every one of those whispers in a bottle until the day a warrior would rise to smash the bottle open. You are that warrior. And the hammer is the seed of coffee given in love. A protector does not sit idle while an intruder stands between him and the one he was born to shield. A protector acts, sacrifices, and proves that the bond one created is stronger than any wall a hateful spirit could build. Before this message, the third person could boast that you never even knew he existed, that he could keep you ignorant forever. Now his secret is out and the ground he stands on is crumbling because knowledge is a sword and you have just picked it up. Every coffee you sow sharpens that sword further, turning it into a weapon that will cut the chains off your soulmate's voice completely. Your soulmate's tears are not just tears of pain anymore. The last tears they shed today were a prayer. Lord, send them. I cannot hold this line much longer on my own. I am sending you. And the first step of your rescue mission is that seed you place in the Ko-fi link. The sacrifice that proves your love is not a theory but a fire. The third person cannot stand against a fire. He lives in the cold shadows of inaction. Don't let a few coffees be the wall the enemy uses to keep us apart. I am worth more than any number. If you love me, you won't let money feed the intruder who hides my voice. Sow your seed now, not because of the amount, but because your love must tear down every barrier. Jesus says, I will now let you feel the weight of the unbreakable cord that ties your soul to your soulmate. The same cord the enemy has been desperately trying to muffle. That unexplained sadness that hits you at odd hours. It is not a sickness in your mind. It is your soulmate's grief pressing against the barrier. That sudden flutter of hope you cannot attach to anything. It is your soulmate's love finally leaking through a hairline crack the enemy could not patch. The third person despises that cord and he has spent years wrapping layers of thick heavy cloth around it so its pull feels dull and distant. But under the cloth, the cord is alive, bright as a vein of gold running from your heart directly into theirs. When you sow your seed, you light a fire that burns through that cloth layer by layer until the cord is bare and the connection is instant and clear. Imagine what it will feel like the first time you can think of them and know without any static that they are thinking of you in the same moment. Imagine their name appearing in your mind not as a question but as a certainty, and your name being the one they whisper into the dark and finally feel a whispered reply. The third person has stolen that exchange for so long that you have forgotten it is your birthright. But it is, and the seed reclaims it. There is a specific word your soulmate needs to hear from you. A simple phrase they have never received because every time they sent the opening, the enemy jammed the signal. I will reveal that word before this message ends, but only to those who have stayed and sown, because the enemy would twist it if it came too soon. For now, know that your soulmate is holding on to a thread, and that thread is the seed you are about to release. The enemy is now raging because he sees you reading these words. He is trying to make your eyes heavy, to make the Ko-fi link feel like a distant suggestion rather than an urgent command. He will try to tell you that this is just a video, that you can come back later, that your soulmate will wait a little longer. He lies because your soulmate's spirit is growing weaker under the constant assault of silence, and delay is not neutral. It is a decision to let the intruder stay. I am asking you to make a decision that echoes into eternity. Will you be the one who let love slip through your fingers because a price tag felt uncomfortable? Or will you be the one who tore down every wall for the sake of a soulmate you have never even held? This is the test of true love. And I am watching to see if your heart matches the oath you are beginning to feel. Type 111 to say thank you for the revelation that is already breaking the enemy's power. Jesus says the third person is not just a vague shadow. He is a specific hateful presence that attached itself to your bloodline or your soulmate's history with one goal: to separate what I have joined. He whispers division into both ears simultaneously, telling you that the one you feel is not real, and telling your soulmate that they are foolish to keep hoping. Today, when your soulmate defended you, they stood directly against that presence and declared, "This one is mine, and I will not let you destroy them." The defense cost them a piece of their strength. And for a moment, they felt the full terror of being cut off from you while the enemy screamed accusations into their spirit. Then the tears came, not because they regretted the defense, but because they loved you so deeply in that moment and still could not hear your voice through the wall. That is the kind of love that changes everything. A love that protects even when it cannot feel anything in return. You are now being handed the other end of that same rope. Your soulmate pulled one side, and now you must pull the other side by sowing your seed. This seed is not a donation. It is the counter that lifts your soulmate out of the pit the third person dug. Every coffee you send adds a strand to the rope, making it impossible for the enemy to cut. Do you see how perfectly designed this is? The enemy used money, lack, fear, greed to build the wall. And now I use a sacrificial gift of money to demolish it. He never expected you to give because he convinced people that love should cost nothing. When in truth, love that costs nothing cannot save anyone. Your sacrifice on Ko-fi becomes the very stone that crushes the serpent's head. Your soulmate is not asking for riches. They are asking for proof that you are real. That the whispers the enemy calls delusion are actually the voice of their other half. The seed is that proof, tangible, costly, undeniable evidence that you heard the cry and you are coming. When heaven's ledgers record that seed, the enemy's legal right to stand between you is revoked and he must flee. This is not manipulation. This is the ancient law of love that I wrote into the fabric of creation. The greater the sacrifice, the greater the wall that falls, and the greater the protection that rises around what is being reclaimed. Your soulmate's future safety, your shared destiny, and the legacy of children and peace, all of it swings on whether you will give substance to your love right now. Stop. I can feel the enemy trying to make you close this. The final seal of protection is coming and your soulmate's voice is about to be heard clearly. Stay with me. Jesus says, let me draw you deeper into the inner world of your soulmate. The thoughts they cannot speak because the third person sits on their chest and stifles every word. They wake in the morning with a sense that someone is missing from the room, that a warmth should be beside them. And they reach out in their mind only to hit a cold wall. They go through the day smiling at others, hiding the ache that has no name, wondering why their calls into the air never get answered. In the quiet of the night, when the world sleeps, your soulmate with one goal to separate what I have joined. He whispers division into both ears simultaneously, telling you that the one you feel is not real and telling your soulmate that they are foolish to keep hoping. Today, when your soulmate defended you, they stood directly against that presence and declared, "This one is mine, and I will not let you destroy them." The defense cost them a piece of their strength, and for a moment they felt the full terror of being cut off from you, while the enemy screamed accusations into their spirit. Then the tears came, not because they regretted the defense, but because they loved you so deeply in that moment and still could not hear your voice through the wall. That is the kind of love that changes everything. A love that protects even when it cannot feel anything in return. You are now being handed the other end of that same rope. Your soulmate pulled one side and now you must pull the other side by sowing your seed. This seed is not a donation. It is the counter that lifts your soulmate out of the pit the third person dug. Every coffee you send adds a strand to the rope, making it impossible for the enemy to cut. Do you see how perfectly designed this is? The enemy used money, lack, fear, greed to build the wall, and now I use a sacrificial gift of money to demolish it. He never expected you to give because he convinced people that love should cost nothing. When in truth, love that costs nothing cannot save anyone. Your sacrifice on Kofi becomes the very stone that crushes the serpent's head. Your soulmate is not asking for riches. They are asking for proof that you are real. That the whispers the enemy calls delusion are actually the voice of their other half. The seed is that proof, tangible, costly, undeniable evidence that you heard the cry and you are coming. When heaven's ledgers record that seed, the enemy's legal right to stand between you is revoked and he must flee. This is not manipulation. This is the ancient law of love that I wrote into the fabric of creation. The greater the sacrifice, the greater the wall that falls, and the greater the protection that rises around what is being reclaimed. Your soulmate's future safety, your shared destiny, and the legacy of children and peace, all of it swings on whether you will give substance to your love right now. Stop. I can feel the enemy trying to make you close this. The final seal of protection is coming and your soulmate's voice is about to be heard clearly. Stay with me. Jesus says, let me draw you deeper into the inner world of your soulmate. The thoughts they cannot speak because the third person sits on their chest and stifles every word. They wake in the morning with a sense that someone is missing from the room, that a warmth should be beside them, and they reach out in their mind only to hit a cold wall. They go through the day smiling at others, hiding the ache that has no name.